Hello, welcome to another train simulator video. We're on Train Sim World 4 and the remastered Cathcart Circle line for our first look at the Class 380, and we'll embark on a run from Glasgow Central to Glasgow Central. Hello, welcome to Glasgow Central and the all-new Class 380 for Train Sim World 4, and also our first look at the remastered Cathcart Circle line as well. It came out about 3 years ago now, and we just had the 314, and of course very much Glasgow Central seemed like a deserted huge station, so it's very good to see an upgraded timetable, much busier, and this fabulous looking 380 as well. So let's get the train set up. That's the master key. It's on. You see the quite impressive display. All sorts of options there to click on. AWS is on. And the doors open. You see plenty of passengers lurking away there on the platform as well. Really looks busy all of a sudden. And I quite like the weathering as well. It doesn't look like a completely clean Class 380. Plenty of dirt and dust. You can see a Silverlink liveried 314 departing. I think that's one of the problems of having various mods installed. You do get the odd random livery. Of course, there's nothing stopping me from deleting some of these mods. It is a reworked Cathcart Circle line. Some of the scenery's been upgraded, and I think the ballast colour as well is more authentic for the Scottish region. Across the River Clyde. Great to see such a variety of traffic though, and you've got one train waiting for clearance into the platform. You've got another one on our left hand side coming in, as well as another one departing. Very busy scene. embarking on a journey about half an hour or so Glasgow Central to Glasgow Central around the Cathcart Circle line. Of course, it is possible with the DLC to do the services to Neilston and Newton. Shields East is our first stop. We haven't really had a chance to get going in terms of speed yet. The 380 is the preserve of the Cathcart Circle line now. This is kind of set in a period when the 314s were still in service as well, perhaps in the latter days. Quite sure exactly how much work has been done on the stations. They were already pretty well modelled from the original route. I know we've got the new lighting, the new sky effects. I think the scenery generally has had a bit of a boost.
Ticket checks are in operation at this station. Please have your tickets available for inspection.
You're a few seconds late. Absolutely no idea whether the sounds are 100% authentic, but certainly sounds like a D0. Can't say I've got great experience in travelling on these units. Can't really explain why, but I just prefer the cab comparing it with the 385s, and I mean essentially they're very similar looking trains in many ways. Park. I think you would alight here for Hampden Park for Scottish international football matches and the Scottish Cup final as well.
Is in use at this station for your personal safety and security.
Like the look of that. Look at the crack as well on the platform and the concrete. large parts of this run we won't really get up to a great speed because the stations come thick and fast. Cross hill the next stop. You see we've got a 30-mile-an-hour speed limit, but pretty much just as we enter the platform, so we can more or less speed up to the 40 until we get to the platforms. Really difficult to see the exact positioning on the platform where you should be as well when you go around these corners, because you have that restricted view because of the corridor connection in the middle. So you have to have real knowledge and experience on exactly where to stop. A little bit we can do on the GSMR. At least they've tried to simulate it in a certain way, maybe not as comprehensively as we get on Train Sim Classic. It's a fun unit to drive, I think, and it's been quite nicely modelled. Loving the graffiti there. And just the general landscape just feels a bit nicer than it did originally, and breathes some new life into this route. Florida. Exotic sounding names. Would have been a bit nice to have had something on that display over there. It says no image expected here, and I presume that's where the monitors go up. Wouldn't be surprised if something better does get done by some creative people that can do the mods on the train sim community, both in terms of the sounds of the train and maybe one or two features of the cab. We'll see if that's possible. Just a little reminder there that you can't apply the power until the doors are properly shut. So Cathcart is indeed the next stop. There's a bit of a junction there, and we'll kind of head back towards the other side of the route towards Glasgow Central. So this is clockwise working. Make sure we observe the 20 mile an hour correctly as we come into this section. That should do us. We're on time.
This is a safety announcement.
We're a minute late.
It is not permitted to cycle, skateboard or rollerblade within the station building.
Presumably, those passengers on the platform are awaiting the train to Neilston. Quite like the track joint sounds. I think there's been quite a bit of work gone into this add-on to make it feel nice. You always felt that the 385 was just a bit rushed as part of the Edinburgh-Glasgow route. Sure, it won't be too long before somebody substitutes this in. Maybe not all that authentically, really, for a run between Edinburgh and Glasgow, but personally I think that'll be quite fun to do. Perfect summer's day. Not exactly sure that we've seen too much weather like this, either in Scotland or in England either, for that matter, this summer. Fast side, we should be alright, I think. Quite a long platform. It's always been a suspicion that sometimes the trains are just modelled that bit too cleanly, so it's good to see a little bit of effort trying to make it look not completely pristine. When we get to Glasgow Central, we'll try and have a look at the interior of the train in terms of going through the passenger areas. Also have a bit of a look round Glasgow Central Station as well. See plenty of options with the menus. as I'm driving this 380 has only come out today. Which I think in terms of this YouTube video being uploaded is the day before. Should come out on the Friday. Purchased it on the Thursday, the day of release. You will get the upgrade to the actual route for free, by the way, if you own Cathcart Circle. But you won't get the enhanced timetable. It's good to see all the Celtic spellings and just the general proper ScotRail official licensed product look to it. Great name, Pollock Shields, I have to say. I think but for this 380 coming out, it might well have been the case that I wouldn't have had a ride on the Cathcart Circle again. It's one of those ones that you come back to occasionally, but it's just definitely breathed a nice bit of interest back into it. Too relaxed about the braking this time, I think. I think the doors are open further back. Maxwell Park is next. See, again, as a driver, it's just very difficult to see the end of the platform. Maybe you'd have a bit of a glance looking out to the right and you'd be able to put things together a bit better, maybe. Pollock Shields West is our next and penultimate stop. By all means, if you want to comment on the video and tell me your thoughts. Brakes are pretty decent on this thing, I have to say. And it accelerates away pretty swiftly as well. Good to see pedestrians walking about on the streets up above as well. It just adds a little bit of life. I mean, you see vehicles as well, just makes this feel a little bit more true to life. To say, very much enjoying this Class 380. First drive of it, and we're on the final approaches now to Glasgow Central. Be interesting to see if we get a clear run into the platform. I'm sure particularly some of the rush hour services, there might be a bit of a waiting game. I know the one thing really missing from the game is Avanti West Coast Pendolinos and the cross-country Voyagers, Class 220s. Scenarios, maybe timetable mods. I mean, the Class 800 Azuma could easily be used as a sort of a future representation of the 805s or the 807s. I mean, I don't think there's any plans to actually bring them into Glasgow Central yet, but nothing wrong with a bit of artistic license. And again, you could go backdated a little bit with cross country with the HSTs. We did have an adverse signal. We've got, well, double yellow has cleared to green, so presumably things are looking good for a straight through run into platform 6. Maybe this 380 that's emerging out was perhaps occupying our platform. Looks like the power box, Glasgow Central on the left. Is it still used? The line, I think, from Ayr on the left-hand side. Because we had that Glasgow Airport link which never materialised in real life, representing for Train Sim Classic many, many moons ago now. Again, as we approach Glasgow Central, it's good to see more trains coming out. Looks a lot busier, the timetable, much more interesting. Now, the other thing is, the Azumas are represented. There aren't that many Azuma services, but the LNER Azumas are represented. As we cross the River Clyde again. Now, I do spy an Azuma actually on the right hand side, but I think again this is a mod that I've downloaded not particularly intentionally for this route, because it's in Great Western Railway colours. This was all for runs out of Paddington. Pretend it's on loan to LNER, Great Western Railway. Well, isn't that a fabulous sight with all the different trains in there? Loving these buffer stops as well, and I could be wrong, but I don't recall these being in the original route. It already says not in service. That's quite clever. Go back to the free roam. Let's just kind of decommission the train, if you like, before we head outside. Set it into neutral. And if we can find the tail lights, where are they? Wrong way. There we go. Quickly behind. Still some people lurking and waiting. I mean, they've got 27 minutes to go before this service is off again. Quite nicely done. The interior. Before we leave, let's just have a quick look at the station. Beautiful station architecturally, Glasgow Central. It's always good to see the departure boards as well, which are kept absolutely bang on time in comparison with the actual real time. You can see there, I think that's very good. The correct stations that the trains would stop at too. We can't not have a look at the classic Glasgow Central clock. just a wonderful station, such atmosphere. And nicely represented in the game. Not much change from the original route when it came out, but it's very good to see. So I hope you've enjoyed this video, and if you want to upgrade, then you'll get the free upgrade to the route if you have Cathcart Circle already. The Class 380 though is now available as a piece of DLC. I mean, I'd highly recommend it, but you can make your own mind up from the video. Hope you've enjoyed the video, and if you feel obliged to, then I won't object to you liking and subscribing to the channel. And until next time, it's goodbye for me.